So, okay, great. Let's call that good. And let's actually start. Allow your feet to touch and bring your head top up to the highest point. Relax your shoulders, relax your hips and your tailbone, and then breathing, send your hands out, and then allow the base of the palms to connect, then the fingertips, and you can allow the hands to rest. We don't want the arms collapsed, so leave the structure round. Connect the tongue to the upper palate. Lift the base of the torso, the bottom perineum, while you're breathing, and then inside the shoes, we're activating the toes. Try to clear your mind. Focus your vision straight ahead as far as you can. Open your nostrils to breathe. Tuck in your chin. We said a second ago, leave a space in your armpits. The same thing, the chest is hollow, which means we're not pushing out. Make your neck straight. Allow your lower back to unroll, and then also expand side to side so that it's all completely relaxed. Fold the insides of your hips. Forget your knees. Flex your ankles. Make your ankles strong. Feel the structure of your ankle. Pull your heels in. Pull the outsides of your feet under. Pull your toes and the front part of your feet back. Breathing. Relax. We're going to start with some Qigong. Take a comfortable stance, and we're just going to start breathing. When you reach up, turn to one side, and then come back to the center. So starting from the center, breathing, reach up, turning all the way to the side, and on the way back down, return to the center. So breathing, reach up. My palms are turning up and out, and this is like a central version of sunrise, sunset. Reaching up, turn, center. Make your breathing match the movement. Go at your own pace, but see if you can do the exercise with no breaks. This is a new one. We've changed the sort of basic Qigong that we do by adding a turn. So see if you can, without any breaks in the movement or the breathing or your mind, and see the shapes that you're drawing. See the shape that your body makes. Up to the center, off to the side, back to the center. One movement. Balance it out. Make sure you've got one on both sides before you end the exercise. And at some point when you have balance, after your last one, bring your feet together, bring your hands together in the center. Take a deep breath. relax. Let's actually stretch a little bit. Let's warm up. Let's start with from the top to the bottom. So when we talk about healing, acupuncture strategy, qigong, when you're doing massage, when you work with needles, something like this, if you have injury, you want to work that in a direction, right? Usually the idea is to get it to the end of the tube, right? So in our body, we want to move things from top to bottom, from down the arm. But sometimes if we have injury, we may want to dissipate that. It may not, going downwards may not be the right direction. But when we warm up, when we practice, we should have some idea of a strategy for moving in a direction from the center outwards, from the top to the bottom. So my warm-up's always starting from the top. So relax your shoulders and then lock your shoulders in place and then start stretching your head and neck. So while we're doing this exercise, maintain the breathing, and I want you to have something in your mind. Our cat is going to have kittens, and so for the kittens, we don't know how many there will be. If the mother needs assistance, we may use a bottle, and for nursing bottles, they have a cap, a rubber cap, and it sort of has this shape. So when we do this neck stretching exercise, imagine like a nursing bottle, that this top part of your body is like the cap of that, and this is like the end of that cap. So when you lock this in place, all of this top portion is like that rubber that can be stretched. And imagine one of the kittens takes the end, right? Kittens, they're not very coordinated, right? And they use their teeth. So like the top is being pulled. We're not just lazily flopping the head around, but instead I want the up power, I want the up force, the upward direction. So now again, adjust your posture, grip your feet, and then while you're doing this, return back to that long, relaxed breathing that we started with. So always feel the upward at every point in the circle or spiral that you're turning. Feel the upward, like really stretch your neck in a new way. Change directions if you haven't already. And then when you come back to the center, don't change your posture. Keep that power up there, and shoulder rolls. So check to see that you have at least a half smile is the minimum. And don't forget the internal components with the breathing, the abdominal work, lifting the bottom of the torso. Make your whole body involved. Alternate one way or the other. And while you're doing that, think about your strong, straight center line. So keep the head top up there. Relax your tailbone down there and turn your shoulders around the center. Check to see if you still have the half smile from the last one we did. Change directions. Did we change directions on these already? I don't know. Let's continue. Next, lock your feet. Lock your hips as if they're facing one direction and then turning. And then the same thing with this exercise. When you grip your feet, and once you have the correct, go back to the relaxed breathing. You'll change the quality of the relaxation, the quality of the movement. And then add one more thing. So while we're turning, I want you to feel like your head top is going up and your tailbone is going down. So turning around the center. pull the head top up, sink the tailbone down, but also relax with the breathing the same way we did when we started. And then relax. A lot of people work out, fitness, move around, do a lot of different things. What's the purpose if it's not correct? If you're running, but your posture's like this, you're gonna end up, I wish I was a better break dancer, right? Because I could move my head like those guys do, but you're gonna end up putting all of this strain. It's better to take 50 steps with a straight neck than 500 steps with a bent one, something like this. So while we do all of these exercises, the things that we practice when we're in Tai Chi Harmony, all these principles are the real ideas that apply to everything. When you walk, when you surf, when you cook in the kitchen. Let's continue. From a nice, comfortable stance, just turning around the hips. So remember to breathe. Remember to have a very serious expression on your face while you do this one. And this is, again, your exercise. So if it feels better to push way back in the corner here, and you should be able to stretch the whole back of your leg just from this one position. Grip your toes. Continue to turn. When we started, I said with the Qigong, don't let there be any breaks in the movement. Keep the movement continuous. In this one, you can put breaks. You can add a stopping point where you want to sort of stretch back to the corner to get the stretch you may feel on the inside of the leg. Just grip the ground and remember to revert to that relaxed breathing. Is the tongue still connected to the roof of the mouth? That probably won't make you frown. When you feel good with that, take a break, take a deep breath, grip your feet. We're going to push the tailbone back and away, and then let your upper body relax. So don't keep your head top like a lot of people want to look up and around while they're down there. Instead, let everything relax. Remember to breathe. Again, the same relaxed breathing we started with. When you're ready, use your abs, use your abdominal muscle. Relax your back, breathing all the way up. Inflate like you're pumping your whole body up with air, and then relax. We're going to do one more of those. So, grip your feet. Push your tailbone back and away. And then roll. And then use your abs, breathe and expand all the way. When you come back to the center. Very fascinating. You can see the place where I'm at is very beautiful. A lot of wildlife here. Yesterday we saw a bald eagle. Just now, while I was stretching, I found this. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's a shell. It's like a type of nautilus shell, and it's pearlescent. I'll see if I can get a picture of it for the YouTube or the website later. Very cool. Anyway, let's continue. So with the next one, allow your feet to touch, and then take your hands. We're going to run them down the back of the legs. And the same thing, relax your neck. And then take your hands, bring them around the front, and we're going to pull them up the front of the legs. We're going to do this at least twice more. So using pressure, so pushing inwards towards the bone. We said earlier, like the body is a tube. So imagine you have a tube of toothpaste or some other material, and you want to squash. Roll all of the paint out of the paint tube, for any of you that have done the kind of painting where you get paint out of a tube. And then the same in the front. You can use pressure. So here, pulling all the way down. Breathing deep, and then all the way up. By the way, you may find that applying pressure in this fashion is difficult, and you don't even need to do it. You can simply use the energy points on the palm without applying any pressure. Keep your back straight, keep your alignment correct, breathing deep without using pressure, just using the chi, just using the energy, moving all the way down and all the way back up. In some schools of Qigong acupuncture, the legs are called the second heart of the body. The heart in the upper body is pumping blood to the brain and to the sensory organs and to the lungs and digestive and energy system here. The lungs just have muscles. There's no organs there. So we have to keep our legs strong. And today we're going to combine some leg work with the exercise we did earlier, breathing, combining the flow with the leg work. So let's do a little bit, at least one more leg exercise. So take square step, shoulder width wide, shoulder width deep. Push your tailbone back and away. Keep your spine straight. You can use your leg for balance. Tilt your toe up, reach. Remember to breathe, and then either looking up or looking down, either straighten your neck or expand it by curving it, one or the other. Push forward, breathe deep, relax. Let's do the other side. Open shoulder width wide, step shoulder width deep. Fold the inside of the hip, sink the tailbone, pushing the tailbone back and away. Stretch the back of the leg, the inside of the leg, and then the spine, same thing. Either push your crown forward or push your chin forward. Breathe deep, grip the ground, push forward, and relax. Let's start with some X-stepping. And I want to add a component today. We have talked about it before, but it's something that's impossible to do without the correct leg strength. When you see people practicing Tai Chi very beautifully, and it looks like they're floating, their upper body is, that, right? What just happened there was incorrect, right? I didn't have complete control of the step. So we don't want to have this sort of falling into a step. So we practice X-stepping, we practice getting our legs conditioned so that we can attain flow, right? The Chinese had a term right now, in the past decade, the term flow has big significance. There's books written about the subject. The Chinese had a name for it. Let's actually practice while we talk. If we're gripping the ground with our feet and then just warding off left and right. Very simple. And you can turn your hands how you like. People want to know, should I have this other hand scooping underneath this way? Should I have the other hand gliding across the surface this way? It doesn't really matter. I've seen different teachers teach it different ways. The important part of this in Mandarin, this exercise is called Chan Si Jing. Imagine that you're winding a cable, a wire. If any of you have worked with a very long extension cord and you have to wrap it around your arm, imagine that you're winding that cable around your arm, right? Or my favorite, TC would always talk about food, my favorite is cotton candy. It's basically pure sugar that's been heated and spun through some air. So if you know how those things work, if you put the thing in there, you can imagine you're spooling up a big pile of cotton candy. But the term Chan Si Jing means silk reeling, right? And what is silk reeling? What does that mean? Silk, you can think of it as silk pulling. Now, not many of us here have probably had the opportunity to handle silkworms. Some of us here maybe have had the opportunity to handle spider, if you've ever had the chance to work with a large tarantula or something where you can actually touch the webbing and pull it off of them. Any animal enthusiasts? The concept is when they make this webbing, a spider or a silkworm, they can place it and then sort of make a string. So we want to but if you pull too hard, it will break, right? Or it will disconnect from the host. So the idea is we want to make this movement continuous. And on the outside, it's easy just to draw two circles like this, but we want to make the Tai Chi movement continuous. So shift the weight from one side to the other, and then make sure your tailbone is sinking the whole time. How can something be sinking the whole time? That doesn't make sense. How can something go down continuously? Won't gravity stop it at some point? Think of your tailbone like a waterfall. Niagara Falls doesn't stop going down. It's continuously going down with gravity. Your tailbone is the same way. And when you have tension in the legs, boop, you pop up, right? You can't relax. So relax and let your legs be strong. And so that weight shift, the power dynamic shifting from one side to the other is silk reeling. And then when you turn your head and your hand, when they all arriving at identically the same time, this is also a silk reeling. Another feeling or sensation may be more common than handling spiders. Fishing. A lot of people have gone fishing. Or if you ever handle a kite, they have the same principle. Kite on a windy day when it has the power out against the string, you have to wind very slowly, very carefully, methodically. If you turn it too fast one time, there's tension in the line and it can break. So this is Tai Chi ideas. We want to have tension in the line that's going from here to here. Not physical tension, structural tension, right? The same way the kite string or the fishing line, when you have the fish on the end of it, if you pull, it will snap the line. You have to wind slowly, carefully, and there's actually another layer of Kung Fu for fishing people to feel the thing on the other end trying to go, and working with that, giving some and taking some back, and knowing the right way to do the thing. So this is, keep your body tension, keep your chansi. The hands, you can bring them up, but don't bring the shoulder up, right? Some people say keep the hand level, right? The same thing. Is this hand coming this way? Is it skating across this way? Does it come all the way up? Does it just come across here? Breathe deep. Go back to that relaxation you had a second ago. Let your tailbone be like a waterfall. Continuously, the chi. It feels like the chi is going down, but it's not. It's actually earth chi. Breathe deep. Straighten your neck. Let's do another exercise, static first. So do Jinji Du Li, breathing. Come back to the center. And then feel the same thing with your tailbone. But instead of focusing on that, I want you to make the continuity of this exercise. So once you finish one, change to the next one. Make it as smooth as you can. And once you finish it, connect the dots the best that you can. What we're talking about here is the flow. So don't let there be a break. Imagine you pick up a pencil or a pen and you put it on the surface of the paper and it's continuously moving. There's no straight lines, there's no points, there's no stops. It's just like a spirograph, like one continuous. You can draw the line any way you like, but keep it continuous the whole time. See, because I'm on camera, I'm accustomed to doing breaks. right? I assume people watching and they want to see the posture. So take a break. Take a deep breath. This is a good time to talk about this. In the Tai Chi form, there's no breaks. There's no stops. When you see me stopping, it's because I'm trying to illustrate something. If I brush knee press and stop here, there is no brush knee stop press stop. It's brush knee press right to the next one. It's continuous. So think of it, before Tai Chi was called Tai Chi, it was called Chang Chuan, which is means long fist, right? Or long river. And we can think of the Tai Chi form like a river. Once the river starts, right? Once we come out of Tai Chi harmony, all of this movement from grasp the sparrow's tail all the way up to the end of the form is only one movement. But we don't have any words in any human language that can describe a movement that complex, that has repeating shapes and stuff. Maybe perhaps some mathematician could come up with some formula. So we call Tai Chi form. So when you see me stopping, right, we have hook, we have single whip. That's because those particular points in the postures are agreed upon. So we want to be able to cultivate our Tai Chi to be able to flow no matter what we're doing and no matter what position we've gotten ourselves into. We should be able to just flow right into and out of it. And by the way, that's when you know that you will have the Tai Chi for yourself, is when you can freeform. I would go to watch my teacher sometimes go to teach with him, and he would be turning four corners into Jinji Du Li and turning that into something else. So I said, "Oh, is that some special form?" He said, "No, I'm just making it up." I said, "You're freestyling?" He said, "Yes, of course." Let's carry it into X-stepping. So we did this, we did the other flow exercise. Now combine everything together. So starting from the center, when you step back to the corner, make it one continuous movement. And you can make it more slowly so that you don't make a mistake. But don't break for the balance. When you get to the center, front right, and then step up and return right back to the center. And once your other foot returns, step immediately to the front. Jinji Du Li. Center. Rear right. Center. Rear left. Change. Center. Front right. So it's as if your body is just one thing, and it's moving through space, also just doing one thing. This is what you're looking for when you see Tai Chi master moving the way that they do. Before we continue, anyone have questions, thoughts, comments, ideas? No. Let's do Tai Chi. Let's do the first section just with the focus of continuous movement. I'm not going to add breaks, right? Normally I do, and hopefully I'm not going to add breaks, because when I'm teaching, most of the time I put a pause in there. That is for demonstration purposes only. Is it incorrect Tai Chi? No, because I'm teaching. Would it be incorrect Tai Chi at the competition? Yes. They would say, why does that man keep freezing? He's doing the robot, something like that. So let's pick a place to start. Remember the shape of the form. By the way, learning Tai Chi, very good for maintaining cognitive abilities throughout our age. The parts of the Tai Chi form that are frustrating for you are the parts of your brain that you should cultivate. So if you don't know which direction we're going and you don't have good map making skills, you can actually use Tai Chi to improve that. If I pronounce the names in Mandarin and that sounds somehow frustrating to you, you can learn Mandarin. we can learn these things, so we can use the Tai Chi to improve. Let's actually continue to work. So pick a space, bring the head top up, relax your tailbone, relax your shoulders, return to deep breathing, connect the tongue to the upper palate, lifting the perineum with our breathing. Focus your vision, open your nostrils, connect the tongue to the upper palate, and of course you can frown if you like, but a half smile is correct Tai Chi. Sink your tailbone. Feel that it's going down all the time. Commencement. I'll just name names for the checkpoint along the way, but I won't take a break. Breathing. Grasp the sparrow's tail. Ward off. Grasp the sparrow's tail. This may be too fast. I'll try to slow down. Step forward, ward off. Roll back. Always moving all the time. Continuous movement. Chan Si Jing. Press. Look left. Glance right. Double push. Horizontal. Split hands. Hook. Single whip. Turning back to the north. This is Ti Sao San Chi. Flip. Brush. Roll. Up and down continuously. Crane. Play the harp. Press. Even stepping back. So imagine you're doing connect the dots, but we don't want to connect them with straight lines. Connect the dots with curved lines. Play the harp. Brush. Press. No break in the action. Just continuous, smooth, silk reeling. Press. Holding the moon in your chest. Punch. Ban Man Shui. Feel your tailbone sinking. Rufon. Suvi. We're closing the forearm block right. And the only stopping happens is when we actually stop in Tai Chi Harmony. Everything else during the entire form should be moving continuously. Questions, thoughts, ideas, comments. Let's do, there's a section right around, the thing that actually inspired me to thinking about this class this week was what we did last week, which is from fold knees down. So let's actually do the second section up through cloud hands, and then we're going to pull a part of that out and work on just the flow of that. So I'm going to start in the center because we're going to imagine we finished the first section and continue to the second section. So I'll be starting right here, and you can actually kind of, if you understand the form, get some mapping out of that, and then we'll come back and analyze. Before I continue, anyone have questions, thoughts, comments, ideas? It looks like we have about 20 minutes or so left. So I'm going to face this other direction. We're going to start the form from Xuan Sen Kanshong, turning body, warning palm. If I face this direction, we can start in Tai Chi Harmony, but I'm just going to bring one hand in the other T-step, step to the square facing south, breathe deep, roll back. Sink your tailbone, feel that it's continuously going down. Press, push, look left, glance right, double press, horizontal, split hands, hook. This is turn back to look at the moon, repulse the monkey. 1, I forgot, we're not putting brakes in here. 2, 3, I don't know if I'm still on camera. Opening to the side is sheer, expanding, high knees, sand on lock punch in, line, sway, press, push, left, glance right, double press, horizontal, look, side grip, keep the flow continuous from one side to the other side, breathing. Press, step, press. Hook. Corner whip. Bring your feet together. Bring your hands together. Relax. So, let's take a section of that. Let's do that same section again, because there's a part where we go from facing in this direction to facing the other direction here. Punch, hold, right? So changing back and forth, and then cloud hands also stepping continuously in one direction. Can we make cloud hands appear? If you couldn't see my legs, I can't be short enough for that, too tall. But can I make my torso move across the screen easily without seeing my step? Without seeing, let's do it. Let me give you a different example. If I step here and then go here and then step, right? Can we, if we couldn't see the bottom of the screen, can I make that transition between steps smoothly? By the way, some schools may have a cross step in their cloud hands, and I don't recommend a cross step in cloud hands. This kind of thing. Some people doing it, you can practice that way. By the way, when we're practicing this Chansi exercise, it feels so easy. This is boring. Well, of course we can do this. Keep this structure between the hands and feet, right? Knowing, oh, the weight goes into this foot, and then it transfers, and the structural rigidity goes to this side, and vice versa. Very easy to do in the exercise. Very challenging to do while we're trying to remember what the name of that one posture is, how it goes. Are we doing the correct Chansi in that stage as well? So let's repeat the same thing. How are we doing for time? Yeah, we still have over 15 minutes. So let's repeat that second part of the second section. So I'm facing, first part of the second section, facing this way. Turning body, warning palm, And when it reaches its limit, we have rollback. And when rollback reaches its limit, we have a press. And when press reaches its limit, we have a push. Anyone can scribble on a page. It's very easy to do. But it takes a real genius to be able to take a pencil, look at a page, make a scribble, and you look at the scribble and say, "Wow, look at that." There were masters like that, not just Chinese, Japanese calligraphers and painters that could create such a beautiful stroke from one line. Pablo Picasso was the same. He had a series of art where he would just do one, and you look at it, and that's a different discussion for art, martial art. Another reason I wanted to talk about flow is I wanted to talk about some other Tai Chi ideas. These pants today say Kung Fu instead of Tai Chi, right? A lot of times my pants say Tai Chi. Today they say Kung Fu. And in one of the styles, if you've studied the Biangan with me, there's a Kung Fu set of principles that can be used in Tai Chi, right? And a good Taoist never throws anything away. And the idea is in Biangan, when we're practicing with the stick, we want to change three things with every posture: our height, our direction, and the speed, right? We want to change those things either during the posture, in the execution of the posture, the transition to the next one. So the idea is, if I'm standing, I want to go to a lower position. Or if I'm in the lower position, I want to get high, right? They're looking for the Tai Chi extremes. But in Tai Chi, we don't practice that way, because if we did, our grasp of sparrow's tail from our ready stance would sink very low, and then step forward and ward off would be very high, right? And the direction would be changing as much as we can, literally facing one direction 180 to the other. And it also is not flow, because if we're changing speed as much as we can, we want to have a big hit, and then I didn't move positions, right? My position didn't change. So a question for your homework is to think about the three principles I've just introduced to you. Are they Tai Chi principles? Because when we practice Tai Chi, we want the hips to maintain a certain range of movement. We don't want to reach that extreme. But again, anyone can scribble. Can we make it correct? When we go to use it, right, if we're practicing perfectly, right, we draw the perfect picture every time. When we scribble, can we make our Tai Chi change from low to high, right? Is that a principle? And is there a yin-yang that goes with it? That's your homework, right? So, which brings us back to flow. If we're not flowing, we're having sort of changes. Flow is the idea that continuously there's some movement. Let's actually close. Any questions, thoughts, comments, ideas? We're going to do some Qigong just the same way that we started, but this time the reverse. I'm going to face the other direction. Now I want you on one side or the other to reach up and then bringing the energy back down to the center. So breathing, then on the other side. We're reversing the exercise we started with, back to the center. So reach, inhale up, and then come back. Move at your own pace. You can make this very slow, powerful movement. You can make it faster. Go at your own pace. And make the movement continuous so that there's no breaks in the action, no break in the movement. Imagine you could see yourself over the course of 4D time. How would your shape look? Would there be any vibration in it, or would you be making smooth lines in 5D space? I'm not counting, but this is an easy one to balance. Simply do one on the other side, or from whichever side you started with. And then when you finish, bring your feet together, bring your hands together, pull your head top up, relax your shoulders, sink your tailbone, connect the tongue to the upper palate, and then allow your eyes to close some amount, some portion. And move your mind into your Dantian. By the way, if you have a mudra or meditation or mantra, something that you do, you can practice that here. With your mind in the center, take a deep breath. And looking at yourself from the inside, take a second to give thanks. Forget about whatever you might think about yourself. You have a brain, you have a body, you have chi, energy. And so, whatever the state of these things, whatever condition they're in, you can be grateful. You have something to be grateful for. Your energy improves, your posture improving, regardless of what the past is. Today's a new day. Then move your mind from where you think it is, in the center, all the way up to the heart chakra, in the middle. And the same thing, focus your attention right in the center, smiling to yourself. Take a second to give thanks. And feel when you're breathing this center chakra filling up with energy. Hollow your chest, relax your shoulders. And then the same thing, move the energy all the way up to the top, into the center of the brain. See if you can allow your brain to relax the same way you relax a muscle. Breathing deep, looking to the inside of your brain. The same thing, have a gratitude practice. It doesn't matter how fast the processor is or how much memory is installed. Take a second, a deep breath to give thanks for your brain. And then one more time, move your brain all the way up and out. Move your consciousness all the way up and out, and see yourself from far away. And smile at yourself. Smile to yourself. Breathing deep, bring your mind all the way back to your dantian in the navel, in the center. Grip the ground to connect yourself to the earth. One long last deep breath. And actually, one idea for the Byangan, we had just talked about, if for those of you at home that have studied the stick form, you have some new idea when you practice the three things: changing direction, speed, and height. If you put that in your mind, your Byangan form will become much more dynamic, right? And then later you can think about how these ideas apply to Tai Chi, because they do. So with that, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Call, text, write with questions.